Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter. We had seen till verse number 10, in which Sanjaya informed Dhritarashtra that after Arjuna's final set of words saying that you teach me but I am not going to fight, and when he became silent, now Rishikesha, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he, with a smile as though he had a smile on his face, he started addressing that Arjuna who was drowning in sorrow in the middle of the battlefield. So where he was in sorrow, there only this instruction, this Upadesha is being given. So after this, the 11th verse onwards starts Bhagavan's instruction. The Bhagavad Gita in real sense begins now, as far as the message or the knowledge is concerned. And Sri Adi Shankaracharya ji, he has written commentary on Bhagavad Gita, but for all these verses, the entire first chapter and the 10 verses of the second chapter, he has just summed it up very briefly. So he has not explained every verse. He said that all is self-explanatory. How much to explain? But in brief, he has said, what is this all that happened so far? Whether Dhritarashtra's words, Sanjaya's words, Arjun's words, and all the different things that were conveyed in that. What is all this? So he says that the samsara, the world in which all of us as individual jivas are caught up, and it has in its roots what we constantly experience, the sorrow, and that sorrow is because of delusion, lack of clear knowledge. And this, why one is caught up in this world, and what is the cause of this sorrow, what kind of delusion is it, to just present this whole thing, all these verses, the first chapter and the first 10 verses of the second chapter. So Shankaracharya ji just very briefly talks about it. He also says that the situation here, it is not a battle between family members. The main thing is, it is battle between ideologies, between justice and injustice, between dharma and adharma. And the lack of this understanding is what is called as moha, delusion. One does not understand this. Ignorance is the cause of sorrow and is the cause of this disease of Arjuna. So, what would cure this disease? If ignorance is the cause, then knowledge only will be able to cure this disease. Now, what is the ignorance about? What is the subject of ignorance? If we say, I don't know, we will ask, what? I don't know what? So, I don't know a particular language. You don't know a language, you learn that language. But here it is not about anything external. Here, one does not know oneself. Even the empirical identity, if it is not clear, this is what Arjuna is suffering. Even the empirical identity. What am I doing? Where am I? I am in the battlefield. What I have come as a warrior. For what? To fight. And I also know this. But when I look at people in the army, I start becoming their relatives. They are all my relatives and I am their relative. They are my friends, my brothers, my cousins, my grandfather, my guru. So all these different relations I start looking at. I miss out on my even empirical identity, and this is the downfall of Arjuna that we see. Shankaracharya ji says that if we don't know who we are, we will not be able to function in this world and we will never be able to find that lasting happiness. So what is the way out? To know ourselves. Self-knowledge, Atma-jnana. Shankaracharya says, Atma-jnana vihina mudhaha te pachyante naraka nigudhaha. Those people who do not have self-knowledge, they are ignorant, they are foolish, and they are persecuted in hell. Means what? This ignorance itself persecutes. So there is a very famous saying that everyone says, ignorance is bliss. Puja Guruji says, ignorance is a blister. It keeps giving us pain. Pachyante, constant pain it gives, persecutes us. Ignorance. So here, this self-knowledge is the only way, ultimately. But even in the world, transactional world, my transactional identity at least I should know. So, knowing myself in whichever level I need to know myself, that is the solution to my problem. So, Bhagavan now begins. Where does he begin? Seeing that, oh, he is in such a bad condition, Bhagavan begins from the highest standpoint. That if you get that, that is the best. Then you are saved from everything. He begins from there. What does he say? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Ashocyanan Vashocastvam, Prajnavadamscha bhashase, Prajnavadamscha bhashase, Gatasuna gatasumscha, Nanushocanti panditaha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Now Bhagavan patiently listened to whatever Arjuna had to say. He did not interrupt even once. Only when Arjuna was silent, little bit he gave some shock treatment. Again he was silent. He did not interrupt at all. Now, when Arjuna tushnim babhuvaha, he said, I am not going to fight. And when he became silent, that's when Bhagavan spoke. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. And now in the forthcoming few verses, Bhagavan is going to give him arguments on why it is not wise or worthy of grieving, feeling sad. There are two aspects. In Sanskrit, it is called Shoka Moha. In Upanishad also it is there, in Gita also it is there. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji also has referred to it many places. Gurudev has talked about it. Shoka Moha. Shoka means sorrow. Moha means delusion or ignorance. Now we understand where there is ignorance, sorrow is bound to be there. So it will be there. So these two go together. So one is at a causal level, one is at an effect level, we can say. One we can identify, the other we are not able to identify. When I am in moha, when I am deluded, somebody will have to help me understand that I am deluded and get me out of the delusion. I cannot myself recognize often. It is difficult. At least some scripture, somebody's words, some kind of guidance will be needed. Otherwise, I am deluded, I don't understand, I am ignorant, that will not come to my cognition by itself. Somebody has to help me, somebody has to guide me. Whereas I am sad, I am unhappy, I am sorrowful, I am miserable, this nobody has to tell me. I know it. Why? Because I am all the time there. So sorrow is an experience directly I can know, whereas delusion, which is at the causal level, I usually don't recognize it. And therefore, we try to do or we want to do things that will get rid of our sorrow, but we rarely pay attention to the cause of that sorrow, which is ignorance, and we say, I want to get rid of this ignorance so that the sorrow also goes away. So that causal level work doesn't happen easily. So here Bhagavan also feels that let me deal with the effect that is shoka, that is sorrow, which Arjuna will be able to understand and relate to, even if he is so confused and even if he is stunned right now, he is not able to think as he himself has said. Even then, he may not be able to think about the delusion, about the ignorance, but he knows sorrow. He is facing it, he is experiencing it. So let me address that first. So taking the name of sorrow, he is addressing. But what finally he is indicating is that ultimate ignorance only has to go away. So this is again communication. We saw how Sanjaya grabbed Dhritarashtra's attention. He talked about Duryodhana first. First verse itself, Drishtva tu Pandava Anekam Vyudam Duryodhanastada. So immediately he got the attention of Dhritarashtra. Similarly, here also, if Bhagavan would have used the word ignorance, moha, ajnan, avidya, anything, Arjun would not be interested. He said, what is this? Why are you giving me sermons at this time? I am really already confused. Already I am exhausted. Why are you talking about these things to me? But if Bhagavan says, your cause of sorrow, this sorrow has to be removed. If you don't want this sorrow, sorrow I understand. Okay, tell me, I want to get rid of this sorrow. So Bhagavan also is using the words sorrow which directly Arjuna can relate to and understand. So here he is saying, Ashocyan anvashocastvam. He tells Arjuna, hey Arjuna, Tvam, you, anvashochah, anu ashochah. You are grieving. Grieving over what? Ashocyan. Those things which do not deserve grief. You are grieving over those things which do not deserve grief. Ashocyan means that which doesn't, those things which don't deserve grief. Anvashochaha, you are constantly grieving over tvam. Acha, not just that. Bhagavan is also saying, you are grieving over that which doesn't deserve grief and prajnavadamscha bhashase. And you are talking like as though some knowledgeable person. What does that mean? Your speech, listening to you, seems to be some knowledgeable person speaking. But your action of grieving over things that don't deserve grief is like a person who is totally ignorant. So your behavior and your words are not matching, Arjuna. Your name itself is, you are straightforward. Your name itself is what you think you speak, what you think you do. And here you are speaking as though you are a great knowledgeable person, but ultimately what you are doing, you are acting like a fool. He didn't use the word fool, but he said you are acting like that. Prajnavadamsha bhashase ashochan anvashochahato. Here also, that which does not deserve grief, you are grieving over. And that too, it is not just grieving over means you are sad for some time. I have listened to you whole first chapter. Your grief was not short-lived. Anu ashochaha. Anu ashochaha means continuously for a long time you have been grieving. And if I don't say anything and if I leave you, you will keep grieving for the rest of your life. Anu ashochaha, continuously. Constant grief. Anu means actually the prefix anu means after. So after means what? You are grieving and then after that is over, then again grieving. Then after that is over, again grieving. After that is over, grieving. So anu, that is why it is called continuous. Because there is no end to it. So it has ended. It has ended and started what? Again grieving only. So it has actually not ended. It is going on and on and on. Anvashocha. How long? Guruji, while we were studying, he gave this example. There's this lady who met him. She must be about 60, 65 years old. She went to Guruji, started crying and all. So Guruji was also like, what happened? And my mother passed away. So Guruji spoke to her, said, yes, it is difficult. Bereavement is not easy. But then she lived a good life. Did she live a good life? You just remember what all good she did. And now whatever lifetime you have, you do something remembering her and live your life well so that she is also happy wherever she is and all those. He advised. And in the course of that conversation and consoling her, Guruji happened to ask, Acha, when did this happen? She said, when I was 5 years old. Now, yes, it is a matter of grief, no doubt about it. But for how long? 60 years? We spent only in grief. Even that mother would feel, why are you crying so much? You at least live your life properly. So, how long? We see even Ramchandraji as an avatar Purush. He was an incarnation of God. He also cries. We see him crying when he gets the news first time that Dasharath Maharaj passed away. He was unconsolable. But how long? It is described that afternoon he was very sorrowful, and then he requested Vashishta Rishi to guide him, and he did all the rites, performed all the rites. Yes, there is a cause of grief. Okay, we understand in the transactional there will be relatives, there will be people, and I grieve, but for how long? So this is loss of a dear one. Even Ramchandraji, even when Sita ji was abducted, he is grieving. The message he sends to Sita ji through Hanuman ji is also expressing that the grief in my heart you will never understand. That's what he says. That is our bond of love. that nobody else understands. So he conveys, but he is not overwhelmed by that grief. He is feeling, because that was his love, his compassion. So having love, and because of that, you feel something that's understandable, but that also cannot happen throughout. When you say, I will not eat anything, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to go anywhere. Why? Grief. How long? This is the condition of Arjuna. We have to understand what is the difference. Bhagavan Ram also grieved. But there is a difference. It was not anushochati. Here it is anushochati. That is anvashochaha. That which does not deserve grief, you are continuously grieving over it. Going on and on and on and on. How long? Sometimes we have to ask ourselves also. We also may have many causes of grief. But we have to ask ourselves, there is life ahead. How long? So many things have happened. And second thing is, if we look at people in the world and listen to their problems, as soon as we start listening to people's problems, we understand that we have no problem in life. Actually, we are very, very blessed. No problem. But we think my problem is the biggest problem. We just have to listen to one or two people more. That's all. And we say, thank God my life is not as complicated as this. We really feel blessed. We thank Bhagavan, thank you for small problems. At least you're not giving me such big problems. What all kinds of things happen in this world? What all people have gone through and are going through. And we say, I have this problem. This often happens here. Many people say, why are you not coming for the class? So, to very far distance. Distance. Where? In Singapore. What distance are you talking about? You drive 1 hour, you are in the sea. In any direction. What distance are we talking about? We should go to real places of distances, then we will understand. People drive for 3 hours to reach for one class. So the point is, we, with our tiny, teeny, mini problems, we think that we are not great grief and we keep on. But if we look at people, then we understand how much will I keep complaining about things. Ashochan anvashochasto. Now the question is, why do you say that it doesn't deserve grief? Completely dismissing of Arjuna's grief. How can that be? Bhagavan, at least to accept that, okay, little bit grief. He says it doesn't deserve grief. Because now what is he grieving over? He is saying, I'll have to kill these people, all these people will die. Now the question is, who will die? Who are you talking about will die? See? Are you talking about the body? If you are talking about the body, that anyway is going to die. That also will come as a separate argument. But if you are talking about the body, it is anyway going to die. It is constantly changing. It has died so many times. So there is no grief required for body. Okay, no, I am talking about the self. A self never dies. Even if you want to kill, it will never be killed. Self is the ultimate reality. It can never be killed. It can never die. So, no grief required for that also. No, I am actually grieving for that consciousness identified with the body. That is a jiva. I am grieving for that jiva. That jiva also, after this body, it will take another body. That also is not going to get destroyed. And if that jiva attains knowledge, then that jiva will destroy, but then it will realize its own nature of consciousness. So where is the cause of grief? Arjun, tell me. Arjun is just a pretext, it is for us. Bhagavan is asking us, you tell, really, does anything in the world deserve grief? Gurudev used to very beautifully say that your tears are very precious. Don't waste them over the world. Preserve them for the Lord. Why should we cry for the world? What grief? So he says that which doesn't deserve grief. Now, in the second line, he is explaining it a little more. He is saying, Gatasun agatasumscha na anushocanti panditaha. Panditaha means the one. In the first line, what he says, prajnavan. In the second line, he has used the word pandita. Pandita means the one who is knowledgeable. Panda jnanam asya asti isti iti panditaha. So panditaha, that person of knowledge, that person of wisdom, he na anushochanti. Those people of knowledge don't grieve for long, forever. Anushochanti. Not that continuous long-term grief. These people don't go through that. If there is something in the world that has happened, and if it is a cause of grief, they do feel. It is not that they don't have any feelings, but they don't go on and on and on and on. Na anushocanti panditaha. For whom? Is that all the beings in the world, belong to only two categories. All of us belong to only two categories. What are the two categories? One, who have gone. The other, who are yet to go. Who are going. They will go slowly. Not yet gone. So, Gatasun means the one whose pranas have left the body. Gatasun. And agatasun, they have not yet left. So still life has not gone. So not yet left the body, and those who have left the body, both categories. So is there a third category? So those who have gone and those who are yet to go. Only two categories. So what are you telling? You are also included. I am also included. Yes. Yet to go. Yes. But I have time, no? Whatever time. Who knows? Shankaracharya says next moment also. Don't scare like that, next moment also and all. I am not in a hurry. And nobody is in a hurry, but it can happen anytime. Gatasun, agatasun. These are the only two categories, and for both these, Panditaha, people of wisdom, they don't grieve. Why? Because people who have gone, they have gone. Already gone. Now what will you grieve? By grieving, will they come back? No. All we can do is we pray that their journey ahead is good and it is progressive. That prayer we can offer. But more than that, what can we do? Grieving is not going to help them also and not help us also. Okay. And for those who are yet to go, for them, if you can do something, help them. So don't sit and grieve. Well, I still remember when there was this big earthquake. Many years ago, more than 20 years ago in Gujarat, there was a big earthquake. Lot of destruction. Now, we were all in Chinmay Yuva Kendra at that time. So, we were like clueless because something, a natural calamity, when it hits, we don't know what to do, like how to respond, what to do and all. And there were so many people who had already started doing some or the other seva, and the first thing that comes to people's mind is let us feed and let them people not have any problem with for food. But there were other things also that were needed, and we started thinking how to do and all. And we found two youngsters in the ashram only. They used to come once in a while to the classes and all. They sat down, sitting there. And here we are in that center of activity that we have to go and serve people, and there's so much of work to do, and and at that time there are these two people. And it's not that they don't know, they know Chinmay Vakendra, they know everything, not regular or anything, but what happened? What are you doing? Come on, get. So much destruction. I just saw that building has fallen. I saw this building has fallen. Such debris, such people, so many people inside, they are saying, now what will we do? All these people have gone. By sitting there and grieving, is it going to help anybody? There is so much to be done at this time. Our thinking has to be, what can I do to help? Those who have not gone, let me save them. Otherwise, they will go to the other category. If I delay, I'm sitting in grief. This is exactly Arjuna's condition. This is the time to act. What can I do to support a great cause, to bring back justice, to establish dharma? What can I do? Instead of that, oh, so much of destruction will be there. How will things work? I don't think it is the right thing to do. Let us call it off. Otherwise, let them kill me. Never mind. I am ready to die. Is this going to help anybody, including Arjuna? Gatasun, agatasunshya. And no one here has come to the battlefield because somebody has forced them to come. Everybody has come by themselves. And majority of them have come for their own personal interest. Whatever it may be, good, bad, ugly, whatever it be. But they have come out of their personal, they have chosen to come here. Not for somebody. All have chosen to come here by themselves. There's no cause of grief, and even if there was, grief is not helping anybody. And a real man of wisdom will not grieve in this manner, Arjuna, as you are grieving. So there's no point in talking like a wise person, because your actions are totally different. Gatasu na gatasunshya na anushocanti panditaha na anushocanti panditaha prajnavadamsya bhashase. You talk like a great wise man, then behave like one and don't sit and grieve. Do something. But your behavior is that which doesn't deserve any grief, you are just grieving over it. No, I am not grieving over, their death and the Atma and Jiva and all. I am not talking about that. Then what are you talking about? They were great people. These are all were now, still they are. So this Bhishma, Drona and all, they are all such great people, such noble people. So what will happen to them? See, you yourself are saying they are great people, noble people, lived a great life. Then what bad will happen to them? Anyway, someday they will die, whether in war or no war. So if they themselves have lived a good life, then what to grieve? The journey ahead also will be great. Not to worry. Oh, acha. Then, because now I want to grieve, I am in grief. So I have to justify somehow. Oh, there is no cause of grieving for good people. Okay, the bad people then. What about Duryodhana and party? Those people also, they have not lived a righteous life. Then if they die, then what will happen? I don't know, they'll go to hell or what? I am grieving for them. What will happen to them? What will happen to them? So for that also, if somebody dies in the battlefield, dying in a battlefield is a glory. One attains heaven. It is called Veera Gati, Veera Swarga. They attain that special realm, special heaven, which is meant for those courageous, valorous warriors who have given up their lives fighting a righteous battle. So in battlefield also, if somebody dies, it is going to be a good thing only for them. In fact, there is an incident where Karna meets Bhishma. They have a conversation. Bhishma tells Karna, you know what is right, what is wrong. You understand. Your friend may not, your friend Duryodhan may not, but you understand what is right, what is wrong. You know very well that Duryodhan is wrong. And all your life you are supporting him? What is this? You have supported him in all his wrongdoings. And now in this war also, you are fighting by his side. Don't you think it is wrong? Don't you think you should go to the other side? You understand it very well. I am bound by the vow that I have taken to be loyal to the throne of Hastinapur. But you are not bound by anything. You go. Karna says, O Bhishma Pitama, I also have reasons that I am here. One, I am also bound by the word that I have given that he is my friend and I shall stand by him always. Because he was the only one who honored me, who gave me some dignity when nobody stood up for me. He was the only one. And that day I decided he is my friend and I should stand by my friend. So I am also bound by that. But that also, okay, I can break if I see that he is doing so many wrongs. But having supported him all these years, I have myself also wronged so much. So he says, now the only doorway to salvation that I see is dying in the battlefield. Because there is no other doorway for me. Otherwise, I'll go to hell. Because I have supported him and his causes, which were not righteous. I know that. But I was also bound. And therefore, for me, this is the only gateway. That is why I am standing here. So, this cause of sorrow and all, even for these people, don't worry. What is the cause? Why should we grieve for anybody? Whether they have lived a good life, whether they have not lived a good life, doesn't matter. Now, then there is another cause of grief. And what is that? It says, okay, I don't grieve for good people. I don't grieve for bad people. I don't grieve for the Atma, Jiva, all these. Okay, I don't grieve for. But there is one more cause. Oh, what is that? I am going to kill all these people. I will be the cause of their death. I am guilty. So that is the cause of my grief. The point is, even if you don't kill, it is not that they are everlasting. And you are not the one who is killing anybody. Sometimes when we get into an action, we start thinking that this action is most important. We forget the vision behind the action. He says, you are not here to kill people. You are here to establish what is right. And for that, if there are people who are obstructing that establishment of dharma, then you have to eliminate them. That's your job. And it is your duty. You are not the one who is bringing this about. So when we have the doership, that I have to do all these things, I will be doing all these things, that is when grief comes to us, guilt comes to us. What is this? I have to do all these things. It is so bad. Then what will happen to them? What will happen to me? All these grief will come. Oh, who are you? So all these points will be addressed. Now this is just, the second chapter is actually in brief, certain things Bhagavan is telling and taking him through a journey. Then the elaboration of this only is the entire Bhagavad Gita. There is no cause for grief, and you are grieving and talking like a wise man. Wise people don't grieve for those who have left and those who are yet to leave. Nobody grieves. Wise people don't grieve for them. Oh. So there is no cause for grief. So if I find grief in my mind, I have to remember this verse and remember Sri Krishna and say, if there is grief in my mind, there is somewhere something gone amiss, because grief can never be justified. And grief doesn't help anybody. That does not mean we don't feel emotions. That does not mean we become heartless. What is meant here is, we don't go on grieving just overboard. Not required. We remain in our senses. We pay our respects as much as needed. We remember them. In their memory, we do good acts. That's all good. But no need to grieve. If somebody comes and tells us, I am very attached to you, so what do you do for me? I am sitting and grieving every day for you. I every day feel sad. What will happen to you? What will happen to you? What will happen to you? Why you are having so much of struggle? Why you are having so much of problem in life? I sit and grieve. How will we like somebody expressing their love in form of grief for us? We should stop it. Am I such a sad person to grieve about? Am I so bad? No need to grieve so much. So here also Bhagavan says that. Now he says, he said that there is no cause, because the bodies may come and go, the jivas may take up different bodies, but the self never dies, never perishes, never changes. How do you say the self doesn't change? So here that topic is taken up. All these arguments for saying that there is no cause for grief. Don't drown in this sorrow. So here in the next verse, he is pointing out how the self is eternal and is never a cause for grief. He says, verse number 12, Natvevaham jatu nasam, Natvevaham jatu nasam, Natvam neme janadhipaha, न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम्. Here Bhagavan has used double negatives. He says, there was no time in the past when I was not there, nor a time when you were not there, and nor a time when all these kings were not there. So there was never a time when you and I and all of us were not there. Means we were always there in the past also. So there was never a time in the past when we were not there. Okay. Now we are of course there. We know. Okay. And then what about future? There will never be a time in future when we all will not be there. Double negative. To stress upon that all the time, from the beginning of time, before that also, we were all there. Now, of course, we are there, we can see, and always, forever, we all shall remain. Nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatav param. So we were there, we are there, we will be there, always. But I celebrate my birthday every year, and that was just few years ago I was born. So if I was born on a particular day, then before that I was not there. Yeah, before that you were not there in this form. But as existence, as consciousness, I was also there, you were also there, all these things were there, and we will be. So if we think about existence per se, existence, if there was time, existence was there. If there was any space, existence was there. If there will be time and space, existence will be there. In fact, only if existence is there, time and space can exist. Otherwise, they cannot exist. So, my identity, if I think that I am this body, yes, it was born on this date. Manufacturing date is known. Expiry date not known. Because it is stamped, but with invisible ink. So it will be known, revealed. When? On that day only it will be revealed. We don't know. So this body, yes. But here, what is Arjuna's problem? Identity, role clarity. So therefore, when he says, there was never a time when we were not there, there is never will be the time when we are not there, means what? That which is limited by time is not me. So what is limited by time? This body, it is not me. Even mind also keeps changing. Intellect keeps changing. Senses keep changing. So all that is within the framework of time and space. Here time is referred to, but time and space always go together. So in the framework of time and space, whatever comes in that change, I am not. That's not my identity. Otherwise, this statement of Bhagavan will be incorrect. It will be false. So he's saying, what is my identity? It is of course not this body. Then what is my identity? That which was never not there, and that which will never not be there. Which means, which was ever there and will ever be there. That is me. So when he says, when I was not there, you were not there, these people were not there, there was no such time. So when we say I was, you were, all these, first person, second person, third person, so all these people are not there. The point is, I, you, this, all this, when we are differentiating, this differentiation is from the standpoint of the body. From that standpoint, it seems that our existence is limited. But from the standpoint that Bhagavan Shri Krishna is saying, it is always. Now, if it is just one self which is always there, then why should you speak in plural? There was no time, I was not there, you were not there, all these people were not there, and there will never be a time when all of us. He's saying, Vayam, Sarve Vayam Ataf Param. So why you have to say we? Why plural? The plural language is used for the listener. You have to understand, whenever knowledge is imparted, the knowledge is not imparted in the language of the teacher, because teacher knows much higher things. So if that language is used, the students will not be able to understand. The language used by the scriptures is the language of the student. And here student is Arjuna. He is in a state of ignorance. He is in a state of identification with the body. Therefore, from the body perspective, there is plural. But the knowledge has to be given of the reality. That reality is not the body. So it is not the body, but still used in plural because bodies are many. So what you are in this body is not the body. So what you are is because of which the body is functioning. Arjuna is not being told so much, but because we are listening to it, we have that scope of understanding, therefore we are trying to understand Bhagwan's words. Otherwise, it's a simple thing. There was never a time when we were not there. There will never be a time when we will not be there. Over. But it will not make sense unless we understand what is the identity that Bhagwan is talking about. Because Arjuna's problem is the identity problem. And if he makes only correction externally, that you are not their relative, you are a warrior. If that much only correction is made, then it is not going to be a lasting solution. Because for now, oh, okay, sorry, I forgot. I remember now. Okay, now next time I will remember. Now, next time there is no war situation. So now he is not going to remember that I am a soldier, because he doesn't need to remember, because he is never going to be in that war situation. So then he will get deluded by some other role and a misplaced identity. And then again somebody will have to guide him. So Bhagavan wants that you once and for all understand your core identity. After that, all these things are okay. So the main identity, who am I? So he says, you are that which was never absent and which will never be absent. That is you. So if there is no time when all of us were not there and will not be there, then what are you grieving for? Is there a cause of grief? Why should you grieve? What will happen to them? That is my grief. What will happen? What can happen? If at all anything happens, the body, okay. That anyway will happen. The self, it is eternal. Nothing can happen. I'm scared. What will happen? I don't want to kill them. He says, you can't. Why? Because there will be no time when these people will not be there. Means the self is eternal. So therefore, no shoka required at all. So now, although Bhagavan is using the word shoka, that is sorrow, in the very opening verse, ashochan, anvashochan, shoka, he is starting with that, but he is working on moha, the delusion, the ignorance that is a cause of this shoka. So he is using the word shoka, but he is working on getting rid of moha or ignorance. So there is no need to grieve, because whatever you may do, you will never be able to kill them. They are never going to die. So don't worry. Oh, but Bhagavan, okay, I don't grieve for that, but I have another reason for grief. Oh, you are so creative. You have so many reasons. Yes, I have. Because I have decided I want to grieve. So I have to find reasons for grieving. Okay, what is it? It says, I don't grieve for the self. Okay, I understood. I don't grieve even for the body, because that also I understood. Okay. And this in between, this jiva, now that jiva is there in a particular body which is my relative. I love that person and all in that relationship with respect to the body. Now, if that body dies and the jiva will go and take up another body, then one thing is I will lose somebody. All the time selfish, you people. No, no, okay, no, I'm not talking about just my loss. Even that jiva, poor thing, he or she was also so comfortable with that, this home. And suddenly you ask him to vacate and go to another home. They will also feel discomfort, no? So, I am grieving for that. That is my cause of grief. Bhagavan says that is also not a cause of grief. Why? So the next verse we will read now and then we will see that. Dehinosmin yatha dehe Kaumaram yauvanam jara Tatha dehantara praptihi Dhirastatra na muhyati. So here he is saying that even if you worry for this jiva who is changing bodies and all, for him also, you should then cry for yourself also. Why? You have died so many times. No, where? When did I die? In this lifetime only. How? You have changed so many bodies. It is said that every 7 years, all the cells of the bodies are changed. The old cells are gone, the new cells come in its place. So every 7 years, so our age divided by 7, so many bodies we have already changed. And that time nobody grieves. I am 6.5 years old. What happened? 6 months. My body, new body will come. I am 21. What happened? 3 down. 4th body. But this kind of change we like. We like that now new energy, feeling good. When winters and all, there's all the skin and all, it all peels off and a new skin comes. For us, it doesn't happen so much. Snakes, it happens. But for us also, a little bit it happens. And then it's a new, fresh. So we look forward to such change. And here only when this gets very old, after changing so many bodies within this body only, then a major change sometimes is required. Okay, we'll give you a smaller accommodation. You can expand it later. So you are already you are in a big home. Then you are asked to vacate, and then you get a small home, 3 kilo home. Then in that you can expand as much as you want to, and then we keep on expanding. Again, one more. So we have changed Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara. Within this body itself, we have changed so many bodies or stages of life, and that time nobody is grieving for that. Then when it comes to Dehantara Praptihi, when it comes to completely kicking this off and going to another fresh one, why should one grieve? It is a journey. We take a flight from this place to another place. And then from there, we take a connecting flight to another place. So we got off there, and then after that, we took another flight and went to another place. Now, is this journey any cause of grief? So happy on the flight. Now he has to get down. And what about you? No, I'm continuing on this next place I'm going to. This person is going to another city, so he has to get off. The poor thing, he had to get off. What to do? He has to get off. He can't come because he has a different ticket. He has to be loyal to his ticket. So he will go to his destination. Just because I am continuing, why do I want everybody to come along with me only? We have this, sharing auto system in India. People know somebody gets in, and then on the way somebody is there, so they all hop in, and then we share whatever is the thing. So they go from one point to another, and it's a known thing. There was one person who had come from abroad, and first time he's getting an exposure. He doesn't know about sharing auto. So he got into an auto rickshaw, and it went off for some time, and one person coming in, 2%, 3%. He got scared. All these people, are they coming home? So, he got really scared. Then he was educated about the concept that, okay. Everyone will go to their own places when they are not coming home because I don't have food for everyone. He thought this is some new thing in India that everybody comes home and then you have to feed everyone. He actually narrated this. So, it is everyone's journey is going on. So, what is there to grieve? So, we'll take this up a little more tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.